So where should we start this one?
The fresh produce industry, until fairly recently, is so old school.
Oh, tell me about it. You know, we're only just getting away from using a papyrus and quill.
The carbon footprint of asparagus grown on a farm 10 miles from our yard is more than the carbon footprint of Peruvian shipped asparagus.
You're joking.
So that part of the supply chain is very sustainable.
And that's something we should make people aware of. Welcome to Supplied, the podcast about how fresh food gets to us from the people who produce it, move it and cook it. I'm Rob Burton. I've spent over 45 years both growing and then supplying fruit and veg to some of Britain's top restaurants. Now I get the chance to talk to people behind the food we eat. From specialist growers, committed suppliers and Michelin-star kitchens, we'll hear how they got started, why they do what they do and the lessons they've learned along the way. So whether you work in fresh food or just care where yours comes from, you're in the right place. This podcast is made possible by Fresho, the order management platform that helps food suppliers run smoother, faster and smarter operations. Now, let's get into the episode. Okay, today my guest is Tom Denman from Chefs Farms Limited. Chefs Farms was set up 7 years ago with the aim to offer solutions for food manufacturers, chefs and retailers to have access to locally grown produce with full traceability. The business operates from a farm in Sussex and predominantly delivers throughout London and the South East, with nationwide clients too. The business has recently installed a game meat handling facility for venison and is expanding into new markets with both meat and produce. Tom, welcome. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So where should we start this one? Why not, let's have a quick and dirty version of your backstory then. Sort of what's brought you to this point now, and then we'll perhaps talk about the Chef's Farms part of it in a little bit more detail. So what's your story?
So I mean, food is the heart of it. Food and farming. That's why I do it, and that's why kind of my backstory, I guess, is I was very very lucky growing up. We grew up on a farm in Sussex, had cows, and my mum was a seriously good cook. She was kind of, I'm one of three boys, so it was always chaos. Someone was always injured. There was always lots of mouths to feed. There was always lots going on. So mum was very good at kind of doing everything, and from a young age I loved cooking and loved food, and we would go out with the air rifles and shoot something and then eat it afterwards, or we would go and dig something up and eat it, or forage for something and eat it, and it was always kind of part of how we grew up. So really lucky in that respect, and that kind of followed through everything afterwards, through an early career. I mean, I shouldn't say career, early jobs when I was younger, kind of working in kitchens, and then
You've worked in kitchens then?
Yeah, so I did.
Right, okay.
I say worked. I bailed early. I trained at a place called Tom Marie in Woking as a chef, and then went and worked in Switzerland for 8 months, and then came back and worked over here for 9 months.
So the Switzerland things like I bet that coincided with the skiing season, did it?
Just weirdly, yeah.
Funny that, isn't it? Yeah.
So learnt a lot about graft, but learnt a lot about kitchens, and this kind of, they are amazing, efficient little beasts, one small difference, one small change can have a massive knock-on effect. Yeah. But it's how you deal with that, and kind of dealing with that stress and that change, and I mean that in my mind, that's what sets chefs apart from anybody else in the world, is that their ability to strategically manage problems quickly is fantastic. So yes. Anyway, so sidetracking.
No, just going back to the farm. So with you mentioned cattle on the farm. Was it beef or dairy?
Beef, and we only had a herd of 30 cows. It was not a full-time job for my dad. It was almost like a kind of a hobby for us lot to learn about it.
So he got a proper job then.
He had a job that earned us money. So,
and then basically that funded the farming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Which is sadly the truth now for most big farms as well. But so had that, which was great, and we I mean, for example, every year there'd be a guy, and you can do it now still, but there'd be a guy who would come in and he would kill one of the cows on the farm, and hang it up there, butcher it all on the farm. So we'd have the freezer, all our beef would be our own beef for the year, and that's kind of how it worked. So from a very young age, exposed to complete transparency of where your food comes from.
I get it.
Which was amazing, and that was something that really really lucky to have. And Mum's cooking was the kind of was the start of it, really.
Come on, to be fair, everybody thinks their mum is the best cook.
I mean, she makes a mean Scotch egg, so I think that's
Mind you, to be fair with my mum, when it came to sort of cabbage or sprouts, she'd sort of put the sprouts on, disappear for 3 hours, come back, and at that point, she'd consider them cooked.
I think I have a thing. I'm not a great sprouts person. I mean, I've done research to try and justify my stubbornness around sprouts. But I think at a young age, steamed, boiled sprouts, bit of butter on them for a Sunday roast, being forced fed them and not allowed to leave the table until you finished them was just...
Or you ended up sitting on the bottom of the stairs eating them.
Yeah. In the pocket kind of thing, yeah.
Got you. So how did Chef's Farms come to pass?
So Chef's Farms, a frustration more than anything. A frustration.
Okay, interesting motivation.
And then a solution as an answer, really. So the place I was working when I came back from Switzerland, we've got an amazing little grower down in Sussex who grows tomatoes, a variety of heirloom tomatoes called Nutborn tomatoes.
Yeah, know them, yeah. I've been there. Fabulous little setup. Really interesting.
Amazing brand that they've done so well at building from what is, in commercial terms, a very small greenhouse.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Anyway, we couldn't buy his tomatoes down the road because he had commitments with other suppliers or whatever else it was. But our supplier that we were using had no interest in local produce or what else was being grown, and also from the farming community had friends down the road who were growing cabbages and lettuce and everything else, and the supply chains weren't in place for us to be able to purchase them. Yeah. And if we said, "Oh, can we go get a box?" It wasn't there. And I mean, you'll know as well as I do, a customer calling saying, "Can I have a box of this?" is a pain. It's great that there's market interest, but it's a pain. It's commercially not viable. Yeah. So that's kind of where it started, but wasn't necessarily that's a problem, I want to fix it as a solution. But that, I think, is the thing that I've picked out as being the stem reason for it. And so anyway, I was doing market research into who else was doing it locally and that kind of thing, and stumbled across an elderly couple who had 2 farms locally they bought from and supplied 5 pubs or 6 pubs in the back of their car. They would go pick it up and drop it off, and they kind of fixed that problem on a tiny scale. And when I asked them the question, they said, "Oh, we want to retire. Do you want to take over the business?" And I said, "Well, I can't. I've got no money to buy it. There's nothing to buy really, but really interesting." And
you basically took advantage of a vulnerable old couple.
Exactly what I did. Yeah, it's perfect.
Excellent.
It's what's
Love
called a niche, isn't it? Yeah. And so I took it on from them. And at that point, it was called Chef's Herbs. And even now, I still speak to some of our chefs who I have a great relationship with, who say, "Oh, Chef's Herbs." They still call it Chef's Herbs. And I'm saying, God, come on, it's been 8 years or 7 years now. It's just great. But no, so took that on and kind of built it from there. And now we're a lot bigger than we were then, and we're constantly trialing new things and seeing what's possible, and kind of pushing the bounds of what our solution actually is.
So are you actually directly involved with growing anything yourself, or are you almost, if you like, representing the growers and finding the route to market?
Exactly. I mean, we even looked at calling the company Routes to Market at one point. Yeah. So we have what we call a co-op or a community of farms. Okay. And these range from a guy in our local village, Stakem, who has been growing all his life, used to be a big commercial grower, now retired back to a 1 acre or 1.5 acre allotment, and grows this baby veg. Yeah. And hand picks it with his wife and drops it off in the back of their car and does 500 bunches a week or whatever it is, and it works really well. Up to people, some of our farms are picking hundreds of tons of berries a day. Yes. So it's an understanding of how farms work. The small guy, if we say we're going to do something, we need to do it. The big guy, we need to make sure that if one of his bigger customers comes in and says, "I want all of it," he's still got a commitment to give us what we want to supply our customers. So
with your smaller growers, if they've got a crop failure or a gap in the plantings, whatever it might be, how do you get around that? Because there's no plan B, is there? Because if you're having that product from him and it's almost bespoke and that's what your customers want, do you then say to them, "Look, this is not available," and everybody's fine with that?
Within reason. Some exceptions to that. If you've got something that's a core part of ingredients and you've involved, an example would be a catering company. They've sold on a menu next year, Mike's baby whatever. Yep. Okay, or Thakum grown baby whatever. And they've got that on their menu for next year. We won't allow them to do that. We won't say do that. If we have any suspicion that might happen, or if we haven't got a backup plan. Yeah. So it might say a medley of Mike's vegetables. So it could be something else, or we might have
gives you a bit of latitude then. Yeah.
Exactly. We might have another grower in the same village, or we might call it Sussex grown, and we have 2 or 3 growers that do the same thing. So we usually have 2 or 3 growers across all of our lines that are locally grown. So it gives us the ability to be flexible, but the understanding of the chef is imperative. I mean, we we don't work like you work. We're very different. We have
In what ways? Well, and indeed, how do you think we work compared to you? Because there's a lot of similarities.
You have an amazing understand of what your customer or what your consumer is going to buy from you.
Yes.
And if you don't, you have surplus or not enough. Because from what I know from Rushton's is that somebody can call up until midnight or 10 p.m. and order, and it comes the next morning. If they forget it, which happens all the time, I can imagine, they can get a second delivery the following day.
Yeah. A couple of points on that. Yeah, I mean, our order cut-off time is midnight, and the vehicles are gone at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 hours later. And when you start talking to people outside of the industry, so that's just completely ridiculous. Why on earth does it work? How does it work? Let alone why do you do it? How does it? Because that's how the industry has evolved, and I suppose one could say it's always been like that. Interestingly enough, when the Olympics were in London in 2012 and there was the road closures that were in place meant everything had to move by 12 hours because the roads were basically closed, or a lot of the roads were closed from sort of 6 a.m. And everybody transitioned, because they had to placing their orders at a civilised time before they'd actually cooked it. And it was a dream. Yeah. And we're thinking, we're really onto something here. And then, so the London Olympics ran for 14 days, and on day 15, once the restrictions had gone, very quickly everybody returned to order it by midnight, and it was such a waste. And don't get me started on second deliveries. My idea of a second, and we do a lot of it, but a lot of it is done because people have forgotten to order something.
Is it a lost leader? It must be, surely.
Well, it is a loss. It costs a fortune to do it, an absolute fortune. But it's a necessary evil. But what's interesting is that the further you get away from the major conurbations, broadly speaking, the better chefs are.
Conurbations? What do you mean by conurbations?
The big cities.
Okay, yeah.
And if you like, big cities and stroke wholesale markets.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I did some work with a company in Cornwall. Well, Cornwall's 75 miles long. It's a big county. It takes a long time to get absolutely anywhere, particularly in the summer. No such thing as a second delivery service in Cornwall. Yeah. Those chefs got it bang on right every time because there was no plan B.
And if they didn't, they would say, we haven't got any more of that.
That's it. Or then might we go and get something as a replacement from a local shop or something?
Yeah. Or they swap it in for something similar on the menu. Yeah. Which is what my mother, this mother cooking thing. It's resourcefulness. It's what we learned from a young age, and it's what you would have known as well. Or it depends how you cook. This resourcefulness of what have you got in the fridge? Let's make something from it. It's having that commercially as well.
That's right. But the second delivery thing. I mean, apart from the fact it costs a shed load of money, it has to change. Because a big chunk of our carbon footprint, if I want to put it, is generated for a very, very small percentage in value terms, in volume terms, of what we do. And whether we like it or not, we have to do better in terms of all of us reducing our carbon footprint. And that one is a sitting duck. My idea of a second delivery is 5-star hotel phoning me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say, look, we've just had a guest check in. They've got 5 rooms and they want 24 ripe figs in the rooms. I'll walk it. I'll take it in a wheelbarrow to do that, because that to me is great customer service for our customer, so they look brilliant in front of their customer. Yeah. That to me is fine. But because somebody has forgotten to order it, you've got to think, between us, we've got to address this, and we can do better.
And I think that the addressing it part of it is, I listen to some podcasts of other people and people talking and other people in industry, and it's this getting away from the consumer leading the business and almost training your consumer to how you work. So saying, we're not just, what's your problem, let's fix it. You're saying, okay, what's your problem, let's fix it. Here's our solution. This is how it works. Not, hi, you do that. Can you change it? Can you do that? We don't want our delivery early in the morning. Can we have it mid-morning? No. That's not possible. This is the window. This is how it works. And so I think people understanding that. I mean, most of our customers, all of our customers, we don't take a delivery at midnight. We've tried it recently and it doesn't work because we don't know our numbers like you know your numbers. And we're a lot more with scale. I think with scale you can adapt these.
Absolutely, we've got our product goes through very quickly. So you can handle working in a particular way. But if you haven't got a certain scale, so you're not moving the product on necessarily quick enough, or it's not coming in at the right times, it then becomes incredibly challenging. I get that.
And so that's where our model is that we know exactly what's in our fields, what condition it's in. So I spend 2 to 3 days a week on the road, going and seeing every one of our growers, or on the phone to our growers, catching up with them. I take our customers with us. I kind of have this engagement. I lead the business from the farm rather than from the chef to the chef side of it.
I understand that. Yeah, it's good.
So we know what's going on. So we only sell what is good, what is in the field, what is there. If I think we can't get something, or and when I say get something, it's not growing somewhere, we're not going to sell it. Yeah. And that's where a lot of our customers, they have to have one of us, a Chef's Farms, but they also have to have a New Covent Garden wholesaler.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because
otherwise it won't work.
Otherwise it won't work.
It just doesn't work.
And also people don't know their numbers. Nowadays, I mean, you'll know as well as anybody, this year, many of our customers have said, we had 10 booked in for supper last night and we had 55 walk-ins. Yeah. No one's booking. How are you supposed to be able to stock?
Exactly.
It's so difficult to do. So
it is.
So I think for us, what we do that's different is we are not a wholesaler. We don't call ourselves a wholesaler necessarily. We're not a greengrocer. What we are is a procurement company. So people come to us and say, we want to do this on our menu. And then we say, this is how we facilitate it. Yeah. Although we operate operationally like a wholesale company, that's not how we run from a business side of things. So people order with us as far in advance as we can get. I mean, we'll take orders for the next 2 or 3 weeks from some of our catering customers. But they order tonight for midnight and it comes 2 days later. So on a Sunday, 10 p.m.
Oh, what a luxury that would be. I love that.
And then so the next morning, first thing in the morning, our vans, we've got 4 vans or 5 vans, they're all out on the road going to all of our growers. This is why the local area is very important. They collect everything from about 10 a.m. till about 2 p.m. Yeah. Comes back, gets repacked, and then loaded into a van. That van leaves the yard at 10 p.m. for London, goes out, delivers everything. So he's back out of London by 5 a.m. Yeah. Before he gets crashed into by all the Russian vans, kind of whizzing out of the New Covent Garden Market at 6.
I'd be disappointed if they weren't crashing into you, to be fair. They are trained to do that. It's actually part of the induction. If you see the opposition, get them.
Yeah, go. Like the old ice cream wars. But yeah, so we operate in a way that is what we call planned sustainable business. So people tell us what they want for numbers. They say, right, we're feeding 300 people and this is it. How can we do it? So we do a lot of planning with people for next year now. Yeah. So a lot of our work now is for next year. We want to get on menus, integrated into businesses. Say Sussex strawberries, let's get them on the menu. We know that we can get Sussex strawberries from our grower, who's fantastic, at a certain bricks level from March through to October. Yeah. So done.
We do something very similar.
So why is that not on the menu as a Sussex strawberry? It lifts the profile, it lifts the value that's there, and then we go out and get all the marketing and we give that marketing to the customers. They don't just buy a strawberry, they buy a Sussex owned strawberry with all the marketing that you can use for their Instagrams, their menus, their everything else. And then it goes on. It's kind of an added value product. It's the specials menu. So that's how Chef's Farms is.
And it's nice to see things on menus where it just says it very simply. It's a Sussex strawberry. I mean, sometimes you can read a menu and you actually have to pause for breath till you've actually got to the end of the description that's on there. And you know what they're talking about? Fish and chips. Yeah. It's beer battered with this beer that comes from such and such, and it just goes on and on and on. But actually, it is fish and chips. We all know what fish and chips is. So, how scalable is what you do?
Very good question. It is extremely scalable with a very small team because we can streamline operations. So our van doesn't leave unless he's full. And that's down to our sales tactic. But he has a set route. So in terms of our carbon footprint per drop, we're very low. Yeah. But from a business point of view, carbon footprint per drop to me relates in mileage per van, diesel costs, employee costs, insurance costs. Yeah. So our costs are relatively low for what is quite a high turnover business. Yeah. I mean, we're the same. We look at it a number of different ways, but it's about how much value in a given week can a given vehicle drive. I mean, interestingly enough, is that we actually don't go very far. There's 15 vehicles in the fleet, but we spend about twice as much on the congestion charge as we do on diesel. I love that.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Because you're spending the money
It's
one way or
costed.
the other. It's a cost.
Yeah.
But it gives you an indication of how far we don't go and how small our carbon footprint is relative to the value of product that we deliver. But that's a quirk of central London. You can't do it anywhere else because there's such a high concentration of high quality, high volume outlets. You can't do it anywhere else because there is no other environment like that.
Yeah.
So it's from that point of view, it's good. But if we're not spending it on diesel, we're chucking it in with the congestion charge. It's the way it is.
If someone were to say to you, right, tomorrow you're going to get a new customer for Rushton's or a new pub group or whatever it is, and it's going to double the size of your business overnight, could you do that without spending a serious amount of money on space, vehicles, staff?
To double the size of a business overnight, I would say no straight away because that's going to come with all sorts of foreseen and unforeseen circumstances. To scale up that quickly, I wouldn't go near it. It's never going to end well. But I never say never. You look at something and you judge each opportunity on its merit. But it's all right saying, hang on a minute, if we do this, we can, there's so much of this is going to drop to the bottom line. That'd be amazing. But actually what's going to happen in the period when you start doing it to your existing customers, your operational level, your service levels, most importantly, what's it going to do to the people in the business? How much stress are we going to put people under to actually do this? And that's always part of the consideration. Well, it would be in something of that magnitude.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is the level of service that's involved in next day delivery wholesale is mind blowing. The amount of cogs that are turning and people that are involved and customer service and tweaks and everything else are huge. I mean, the days of taking an order over a telephone and then someone saying, oh, can I add a box of this and can I add a box of that and everything else? Yes, of course, we will do our utmost to do that, but the operational inefficiency of doing that is huge. Once an order's been packed and it's stacked for us, we pack an order, it goes onto a pallet stacked in the order of delivery, gets wrapped and that pallet is loaded. And then usually into a van that's plugged in already and ready to go. So it's one-touch football. It comes in, it's touched, and it goes. We're not moving it, putting it in, bringing it out, putting it in, bringing it out. It's very much streamlined, not just-in-time business, but low-risk business. And for us, it means our business model is very low risk, but also it means that in fresh produce, that means you're not holding stock, which means it's fresher. Yeah. So for us, our sales pitch, a big part of our sales pitch, I mean, we spend nothing on marketing. It's all cost of goods sold is our marketing cost. We buy a really nice product. Well,
you say you spend nothing on marketing, but you're pretty active on social media. That's marketing, isn't it?
And the caps, of course, yeah.
Well, absolutely. and what a fabulous cap that is. Yeah. It's probably the best cap I've seen today.
Good man. That's a nil expense. That's a case of me on my phone taking a video or one of the team.
I think you're doing yourself down. Of course, from what I've seen, it's great images. Great images.
But that's where I guess that's a big part of our business, which I haven't spoken about. Is my belief is that the fresh produce industry, until fairly recently, is so old school.
Oh, tell me about it. We're only just getting away from using a papyrus and quill.
That's ridiculous. I mean, when I first started, I would go and do my market research in the local area. So these smaller kind of, I guess what you call market hubs as such. There's one in Brighton, there's one in Chichester, there's kind of around the place around us. And I would go and see, and there was companies turning over tens of millions of pounds, hand writing out tickets.
Yep.
And I'm so sorry, how does that work? And there was me. I started my business on zero without an accountant and built a website from watching a couple of YouTube videos. So my setup costs were a hire purchase agreement on a van, and a fridge, which I managed to beg, borrow, and steal from somebody. So
there's a bit of a theme going here, isn't there? You sort of beg the business from this vulnerable old couple, and now you're begging the refrigeration that put the product in. I think I've got you worked out now.
But yeah, I mean, and that kind of that slightly blew my mind. So I mean, we've had solutions in our business in the last 8 years that have revolutionised how it was. I used to call up every chef which to be honest with you, I'm going back to doing more now because that relationship and contact is imperative. But we use Fresho, which is a software which has helped us enormously be able to tell everyone everything without me trying to rattle it off down the phone in 30 seconds before he starts lunch service. Yeah. So that's been amazing for us, and that integration of technology into what was already a very non-advanced supply chain. So I mean, our steps forward, where we're going as a company, we very much are integrating technology a lot more, and whether that be trackers in orders to moderate quality and see how that affects shelf life, or whether that be lighting or air in our fridges or that kind of thing, we're constantly looking for something new and something extra to add a level of service to the quality of our product. So I think prep veg is something that we're looking to do at the moment, and it's got such a bad rep for itself, similar to how frozen food in this country is seen as lower quality. Anywhere else in the world, frozen food is better quality.
Absolutely, it's well rated and well respected.
And prep veg in this country has a very, very similar thing. Whereas we're saying, hang on, why aren't we building supply chain transparency for prep veg? And some of our customers have said, oh, what about this and what about this, and how do we get this? And we sell them an English onion year round that is from here and from this farm and from this farm. Okay, great. Well, you're buying 500 kilos a week from us. Why are you not buying that diced? Why are you not? So it's looking at options to help their business, that helps our business, that streamlines things. So we're always looking for opportunities, and always interested. But
just out of interest, you mentioned that you use the Fresho system. Did you sort of do a bit of a beauty parade, and why did you choose that? I'm curious, just why people choose a particular ERP system against something else to run the business. Did you look at others, or
probably 2 years before we started using Fresho, I got hit on Instagram with an ad for which was another one. And I tried to get in touch with them and reached out, and I got nothing, if not a kind of a customer helpline kind of response. Thank you for your inquiry, we'll be in touch. And
then nobody got in touch.
And for me, customer service, we are a tiny company. It's a very small team, it's a very small setup, but it's very important that you're treated like everybody else, and everybody, however small or big they are, gets the same treatment.
One size fits all. From that point of it, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. That's how we do it. Yeah.
And we had the opposite experience when I inquired with Fresho. The same day I got a response saying, sounds great, jump on a call tomorrow. I thought, this is great. And then, right, we'll send... And the thing that scared me was the integration, was actually shifting what is already a relatively complicated, but has to be very quickly adapting business. When something doesn't come, how do you change that for the next 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever it is? They were going to come down and sit in our office for a week and build a system around us. And for me, that was it. I was sold.
Yeah.
That from a wholesale side of things gave me the ability to say, okay, great, here it is. And don't get me wrong, the onboarding process, the setting it up, it takes some switching, getting your head round.
Oh, it does. I mean, changing ERP systems, it's it's a big deal. It's a huge deal for any business, whatever industry they're in.
Yeah.
And what comes with that is fear of change. It's like, oh, really, do we want to do this? We've done this once before 10 years ago, and remember the carnage that went with it. And people a lot of people actually don't. They'll stick with it until they've just simply got to change, because the fear of change or knowledge of having changed. And I think if Fresho have cracked the onboarding nut, then they've got a really bright future.
And you've nailed it. We now have an account handler who checks in with me weekly.
Yeah.
Anything I can do to help? Tell me another business that we work with that does that. Check in with me weekly. Anything I can do to help? It's fantastic. And that for me, more often than not, I'm like, oh crap, I've got this long list of jobs. I need to change that product code and do this and do that and do that. And I'm buying this in a different format or a different weight. It's changed grower, it's changed the packaging, whatever it is. I've got to do all this. Oh, I'll do that. The phone rings, something else happens. I mean, you'll know as well as I do. You sit in front of your 2 or 3 screens and you've got 15 things open, or maybe it's just me. And I do little bits of all of them, but I fail to get most jobs done in any one sitting. And it's infuriating.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
And then someone comes along and says, look, tell you what, slide that over. we'll do that for you. Oh, fantastic.
Thanks to Fresho for sponsoring this episode. Fresho provides order management and AI order entry software that fresh food suppliers love. From automating how to receive orders to picking, pricing, delivering, invoicing and payments, Fresho makes your business run better. And it's all backed with 24/7 support so you get help when you really need it. To find out more, go to fresho.com.
For us, that was a step. But I mean, you must use 3 or 4 systems like this because you've got a big client base, don't you? How many people do you?
How many people what?
How many customers do you have in London?
We deliver to about 300 kitchens on a daily basis.
On a daily basis?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or thereabouts.
Okay, so if you've got, and they're all ordering through one system?
Oh, no. No, I wish. Larger entities will be using purchasing portals to manage their purchasing, like Procure Wizard, Fourth Hospitality, and it seems like every week there's a new one that turns up that we've then got to integrate with that one. Then on the back of that, a very important part now is allergen information. Yeah. We've got it all. The trouble is nobody wants it in the same format as the last guy.
Yeah.
And it can be sometimes as simple as somebody's got to sit there and populate their system with the data for 1,500 product lines. But it's the way it is. It's fine. It's a bit like if you don't like the offside rule, don't play football. It's that simple. So, yeah, we have to integrate with a whole raft of things. One of the game changers for us of late has been customers now indeed ordering and communicating via WhatsApp. It's really quick and dirty. It's fabulous. However, you are people that used to phone up. They'd speak to customer service, gets a bit of conversation going, that doesn't happen now. It's depersonalising it, but it's incredibly efficient. But you mentioned earlier about people adding things to orders. I saw one order coming in one night, and the customer placed the order, and then there was 21 additions.
Yeah.
Now I know what they were doing. They were walking around the kitchen. They were walking around the fridge and going, right, well, I have 15 of those. 20 of those, and bang, 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 bang. It's good, but it's not so good, if you know what I mean. But generally, WhatsApp does a great job for us.
And that wait, if that were to happen and come in a line of messages and you didn't pick it up till an hour later, then fantastic.
It's okay.
Because it's one order.
That's right.
But it's when you're trying to be fast, which you have to be when someone's placing the order at midnight, and you've got to get it put on the system, minus it from your existing stock, put it into a picking slip, get it out, get it picked, get it packed, get it onto a delivery route, get it into a van, get it delivered before 6 a.m. or whatever your windows are. If you pick that up at midnight and then you've got the drips, you're going back into that dock.
Absolutely,
it makes no sense.
To be fair, our customer service team are red hot, and they know who is probably going to start dropping some extras in. And they'll know who order it once done. So what they'll do then, they'll hold back. They'll put on what they've got, but they won't actually print the packing note until later on. And then they'll know, okay, he's finished now. That's fine. That's having a team that knows what they're doing and actually give a shit.
Yeah. I have to say, I've got so much respect and kind of understanding for the new Covent Garden wholesaler, for whether it be Rushton's, whether it be some of
there is nobody else, forget
it. Whether it be any of the guys who are doing the next day delivery stuff and doing it well. And I mean, you have to do it well, because a tiny difference in not doing it that well means your customer doesn't get the product they need in their kitchen for tomorrow, which means they can't have it on the menu, which means they can't sell it, which means their business becomes operationally not profitable, or whatever it is.
That's correct.
And so that's a tiny difference. Oh, crap, Rob forgot to order half a pallet of cordage, or whoever does the buying, or whatever it is. And so...
Well, if I was doing, I would forget it. So somebody else who knows what they're doing does that.
That's the main problem with our business, It's me. So I have so much respect for that, and the fact that it happens all day and all night. People work in New Covent Garden, they get into work at 9 p.m. and they leave at 6 a.m. Yeah. They're back on their phones at 10 till 1, and then probably again 4 till 5 or 6. Yeah. And doing it. So it is a lifestyle, and you have one day off a week, but actually because you're working nights, it kind of doesn't really work like that either.
Well, we've changed. We now have people, we've banned the 6-day week, and now everybody does a 5-day week. Okay, we trade 6 days. but we do 5 days. Or everybody works 5 days because it had to change.
For the head of operations, is that fine? I suppose you've got a very good team around you that kind of pick things up. Do you? Are you in the office with your feet on the desk kind of thing?
No, no. For me, it's 7 days. It doesn't stop because we operate 24 hours a day, with the exception we sort of finish at 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon, and then it cranks up lunchtime on Sunday. But there's still stuff coming through that you just need to be across, and it's sort of what you get used to doing, and it's absolutely fine. The trick is when I'm playing golf, don't look at my phone because something's going to be there that's really going to piss me off, which means I'm going to take 4 shots more than I need to on the next hole. So you don't go down that particular route.
How often do you play golf?
Not enough.
Oh, that means way too much.
See, I didn't answer the question. I just said not enough. No, not enough. Because, funny enough, although work is in central London, home is just north of Birmingham. So, yeah, it's bonkers, but it works.
Do you commute every day?
No. We have a place on Wandsworth. We live in 2 places. We have a place on Wandsworth Common, but home is Birmingham, or just north of Birmingham. And it works. It sounds bonkers, but it works. So we sort of live between the two. This time of year, I don't see a lot of my wife because she's either on the golf course or on the tennis court, or looking after grandchildren. But it does, strange enough, it gives us 2 lives. There's the normal life at home where you have to mow the lawn and all that crap. But then when we're in London, because there's none of that really has to go on, then it's almost like having a mini break when my wife's down there with me.
That's so nice.
It's different.
It's a good. As you say, it's almost that creates the work and pleasure line. I guess is. I mean, if you're like me, I love my job, and when I go to work,
love it. I adore it. I have the best job in the world for me.
Exactly, because you go in and actually every day is a challenge. There's a new challenge every 5 minutes, and I love that. I love the solution aspect of it. I love the achievement of seeing all the vans go out. Everyone packs down. It gets a bit quieter, and you think, wow, we've done a seriously good job in the last 8 hours or whatever it is. That is the best feeling in the world. I can imagine it is like when you finish clean down after a busy service in a kitchen. You kind of sit back and have a cigarette. If you have a cigarette and you go, good effort. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That aspect of it, I love. But then the phone goes straight away and you're straight on to the next day.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the best you can do is get through the day, doing a great job, and then it's all going to start all over again. That's the way it is.
Have you done this your whole life?
Yeah, I've never had a proper job. I've always been involved. Funny enough, my background is farming, strangely enough, vegetables. We sort of farmed about 1,000 acres in the Birmingham area and also on the Land's End Peninsula in Cornwall.
Wow.
Which is, again, there's a theme going here. We do like to be spread around a little bit.
Brassicas.
Brassicas down, a lot of brassicas in the Midlands area, and in Cornwall it was basically new potatoes and spring green and overwintered cauliflower.
For supermarket contract or for wholesale market?
This was all through the wholesale markets.
Wow.
Dad went down there in The backstory is that he used to go to Birmingham wholesale market with his lorry, with the stuff that was grown on the farm. And in 1963 there was a very bad winter, and everything was frozen, nothing was moving, except he kept seeing lorries coming in from Cornwall with cauliflower and spring green. Thought, I'm having a bit of this. Went down there, found a farm to buy. Fortunately, the guy who was selling it wanted to carry on working. But a farm down there those days wasn't big. It was 50 acres. There was nothing big in those days.
Split across 35 fields or something.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Granite all over the place. Walls that are 2 yards wide, made of granite.
Cost a fortune.
Absolutely, 6 inches of soil and then you're on granite bedrock. Complete shit show. However, and sort of scaled it up from there. And as a result of having the business in Birmingham wholesale market, then, not dissimilar to what you're doing, funny enough, it then brought other growers into the fold that actually weren't growing those things then. And thought, hang on, there's a route to market here. We can do it with Arthur Burton. So that's exactly what they did. So we were marketing at its peak, probably the product off about 50 different farms all through the winter, distributed it all over the country, albeit into wholesale markets, other wholesale markets. And that's how it was. But it had to finish, because the supermarkets were getting a bigger and bigger stranglehold on the trade, and you could just see the change coming. And it was like, no, I mean, I could do a series of podcasts on the changes. We don't need to go down that route, but it's something that we had to strategically withdraw from over a period of time.
But if someone had come to your dad at that time and said, similar to a supermarket contract with a couple of years of trading, maybe a bit more than that, maybe 10 years of trading, and said, look, this is our client base, this is how business works. We will buy from you every week 700 head of cauliflower, 700 head of this, and this is the price we'll pay with a percentage fluctuation for your inputs. That for him would have been, okay, that's a business plan. I can plan that.
As long as you can make money at that and you can offset risk. You talked about risk earlier. If you can offset some of the risk, it's always a good thing to do. It depends on how much risk you want to offset and indeed what your appetite for risk is on the other side.
And also you highlighted something very pivotal to that situation, which is what happens when a crop fails. And it's that
you need a plan B.
You need a plan B. You need somebody who is running pallets into New Covent or to Rushton's or somewhere that's coming from wherever else to fill that gap. But supply chains take years and years and years to get right.
Well,
and to flow smoothly.
You'll never get them right. You just got to get it as least wrong as possible. That's the point. Because what we mustn't lose sight of the fact is that the product that we're dealing in is not manufactured. It is grown. It is at the vagaries of the weather. We've seen it again this year, where we had a fabulous spring that opened it up. Oh, wonderful conditions for crop planting. But all the time, talking to growers, it's like, well, okay, then what's going to come next? There's this paranoia of weather events, and rightly so.
Farmers are never happy, and rightfully so. But
oh, absolutely. There's two things you never see: a happy farmer or a dead donkey. That's the way it is. And of course, it's come to pass that we've had a prolonged period of dry weather. Temperatures haven't been crazy high like they were a few years ago, but nevertheless, it's been dry. And probably what we might see in a month's time, then it'll start raining, and I tell you what, I know when to stop. Because that's what we're seeing. And talking to growers, I don't know whether you're hearing the same thing, but when I'm talking to people, money, there's never enough money in it, I get that. But that argument, that comment has been made all of my life. I've always heard that, and it's true up to a point. But the thing now is weather events and how people now are managing their growing operations with that in mind and having to think about it. It's a tough gig.
So this is such a big point for us. So Chef's Farms, and where I want it to go and where I believe it being better, is our client is a client that wants to become a B Corp. They want to tell their customers about sustainability. They want to have traceability. And why do they want to have traceability? Because they want to know what the carbon footprint is. They want the consumer to know it's grown locally or not flown over from Africa or whatever it is.
Let me just ask a question. Grown locally. Grown locally doesn't actually make it any good.
What's
it doesn't, does it? It's not quite just because it's grown locally doesn't mean to say it's any good. Now I know I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No,
but if people read and locally grown asparagus, think it's going to be amazing. There's absolutely no reason why it's going to be amazing.
Do you know the carbon footprint of asparagus grown on a farm 10 miles from our yard is more than the carbon footprint of Peruvian shipped asparagus through one of our suppliers.
You're joking.
No. So because it grows.
How does that work?
Because it grows so well.
Yeah.
In Peru, and it grows like grass in a perfect row, like you would see daffodils growing.
Yes. In
a perfect row. It's mechanically harvested because it grows uniformly. So, or even if it's hand-picked, it's so efficient. The biggest carbon footprint usually is labour. People are a massive carbon footprint.
Yeah, people think it's the aeroplane that flies it over here. Not necessarily true. Yeah.
And because shipping has come such a long way. So asparagus has a phenomenal shelf life if it's held at the right gas level and humidity. Yeah. So in a refrigerated shipping containers, that's MAPS, modified atmospheric pressure, I think
that's
it is.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah. If it comes over, it can get here in, I think, 5 or 6 days or whatever it is. I don't know the exact number. But because that is, and shipping is a very low footprint because of the volume you have to ship.
Yeah.
That journey of low growing inputs because it's the perfect climate, low harvesting costs or carbon footprint because it grows so well there. And then shipping being done well means that footprint is so much lower than harvesting the same field every day over and over and over again with lots of people picking it.
That's an incredible fact. Actually, that's something that I got no idea that was the statistic. I'm doing it. That's easy for me to say. I got no idea that was the statistic, and that's something we should make people aware of. But we really should.
That's through one of our suppliers, and that's a fact from them, and they own the farm there, they own the shipping, as in they own the space on the shipping or however it works, and that's their method. So I think, and they as a company have invested enormously into sustainable technology. So I mean, their pack house now that's got 300 people working in it, that pack house. It has a deionizer on it, so their water is completely recycled. All of their waste goes through an AD plant on site, which produces their electricity. It's solar. It's everything is done in that respect. So that part of the supply chain is very sustainable, and I guess localized. But your fact of saying, or your point of saying, local is not necessarily better, 100%. And so often we have to make customers aware that if it's local, it's not going to be as good as something that's bought in from the other side. Local garlic doesn't exist. Local onions don't exist. There is not these things happening. I mean, Holland is a place of excellence for growing a lot of things. We're not going to do it as well as that. And to create a farm is a modern day farm is enormous. It's a very long process, or it costs an enormous amount of money. Yeah, that's usually built off the back of a contract. So you can't just say, well, let's make that better, because it's not how it works. You can't just do that. But this, I wanted to go back to a point quickly, local and sustainable on this kind of topic, is and weather events you'd mentioned as well. How do we gear ourselves up for weather like that on a grower's side of things to protect supply for our customers?
Well, we're now sort of in the realms of food security, which is, again, we could do a series of podcasts on that particular subject. Where we are fortunate is that it's in the hands of people, farmers and growers, who will crack the nut, because they always have and they always will, because it's part of who they are and what they do. If there's a challenge, they will find the way around it. That said, the weather is a difficult one, but the weather's always played a big part in the growing and production of produce. But it is changing. It feels like it's well, it is changing. We all feel as though we know the reason why it's changing, and it depends how big that change is going to be, and nobody knows the answer to that one. People think they know the answer, but we don't know how far this is going to go. But you get all sorts of unintended consequences. I was reading this morning about there's a particular I don't know whether it's a beetle or something that's getting in peas, and they've found one case of it somewhere in Cambridge. And the reason that it is, they're saying, the reason that they've now seen it is because the milder winters have not killed off that particular beetle. And that's why it's showing up in Britain now. It's been on the continent for a while, or southern Europe, if you will. But now we're starting to see it here, and they're saying that's because of the warmer winters, the more temperate winters that we're getting. Now that's a can of worms.
I won't start on that, but I think something that we're seeing a lot of our growers looking into, and we're pushing people to do it, is regenerative farming, and you've got to be very careful about this not being a greenwashing exercise where everyone says, oh, we are regenerative and blah, 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 because it is an accreditation that you become regenified, or there's a couple of people that do it. But our knowledge and our understanding of regenerative farming, and we've got a fantastic guy in our team called Will, who's just done a master's in sustainability, and he understands it. It's his area of speciality, is that we are constantly trying to build a soil structure with more organic matter, with a better culture. So that means that it's self-sustaining, meaning that we're not having to tweak it to grow the produce we want. So an example would be drought. We've had drought this summer, or low volumes of rain. If you have more organic matter in your soil, it holds water better.
Absolutely.
And it's that kind of simple way of looking at it and the knock-on effect of that is you have better wildlife around it, you have better biodiversity, you have better soil structure, all of these things, which are carbon sequestering, and so it's this web of how do we actually string it together to make it financially viable to do on a bigger scale. And until you go and see some of the bigger salad growers in this country or brassica growers in this country and quite how fine-tuned the operations need to be, it's very difficult to say that's the future, because doing that is not possible in many of these setups.
Yep.
I mean, lettuce, for example, a gem lettuce takes, I'm guessing here, but 94 days to grow. Yeah, they know on bank holiday weekend they're going to sell a lot more because it's going to be sunny and it's August and everyone's on school holidays. Yeah. They plant 94 days before that. They plant 100 million or 10 million or whatever the figure is. And the next day the planter might be stationary, but it might be better weather for planting. But then that's because that's the supply chain. And so you can't then say, oh, hang on, we're not planting today because the soil's having a bit of a drink because it's raining and whatever else. So it's a very difficult one to do, but it's definitely stepping into that and saying, well, let's do it in baby steps. Let's plant more hedges. Let's plant more trees in the hedgerows. Let's look at other options. Let's look at other crops. Let's look at other opportunities to do that. So definitely, Chefs Farms is not a wholesaler in that respect. We're trying to future-proof our supply chain by asking people to look at regenerative farming and saying, how can we support you? How can we help you gather funding to do it? How can we advise, add value to the product? Can we mark up the product we're buying from you if it's grown in this certain way, and that kind of thing? And our feedback from our clients is that they want that. Yeah. And our feedback from our growers is, we'll have a look at it. So
going back to the comment you made about regenerative farming and trying to get more body, more fibre in the soil. That's not a new idea. Funny enough, that's how it used to be.
Exactly.
The rotational mixed farming type thing, and it worked. It's not a new idea, but I think taking some of the practices from centuries, in some cases, and then bring them up to date. I think there's some mileage in that, and I think that's what people are doing. Because I can remember when we would grow, we used to grow a lot of parsnips, and we would only grow parsnips 1 in 5 years on the same piece of land. And then the cropping that went round that, there might be a brassica crop, and after that, plenty of green stuff that go back into the soil.
Fixing.
Used to grow sugar beet as part of the rotation, plenty of green tops that went back into the soil because we were working on very, very light soil, and that's what you had to do to make it work. It's not a new idea.
And that rotation aspect of agriculture is something that we try and push towards our customers. So we take the chef for a 2-hour call, a journey about next year's growing. Right, in this month we will have this, in this month we'll have this. Can we try and plan a menu around that roughly?
Yeah.
So then the glut seasons for the product are when it's glutting on a menu. I mean, naturally we do that as a people anyway. In asparagus season we buy asparagus, in summer we buy berries. But trying to fine tune that a bit more and make that kind of a bit more structured is for us what we see being a sustainable option. And chefs or cooks or businesses using data and using technology to know their numbers better so that they can order it 2 days in advance, 3 days in advance. Obviously, it's not possible for a lot of businesses, especially with our walk-in situation we have at the moment. Yeah. But in doing that becomes the future. I mean, Natura is a fantastic company, and Will, the guy I work with, the guy who's just done the Masters, he said he works as a chef part-time and works for us part-time, and hopefully more so in the future. But he said Natura is this thing that no one knew they ever wanted, but then they get it on the menu and now they can't get away from it.
Absolutely. Natura have got some really, really good lines of supply. Niche, and they're very, very good at that. No question about it.
It's very niche, and they're very good at it, and they've got this fantastic lines of supply, and it's not the normal crops. They brought in different things, and they spent quite a long time, you'll know better than me, quite a long time plugging away and saying, you need to have this, you need to try this. And I mean, the amount of people that are on bicycles or cars or whatever else, carrying packs of vegetables and fruit around London, going into kitchens saying, try this, try this, try this, try. I'm sure people get so bored of it. But the cost of doing that, I can imagine, was colossal. But they're now so ingrained in these businesses that they can't live without it. And this next day delivery aspect of wholesale, it's a must for businesses, for food businesses. but it's also a habit. And as you said, people are saying,
you're right.
I forgot.
It is a habit.
I forgot to order. Well, don't forget to order, because luckily we can help you out, because you're not the only person that forgets to order. 95% of people forget to order. But if we can try and plan it well in advance, then it makes a massive difference.
Absolutely. I mean, I would sum that as, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. That's the way it is. And sometimes you've just got to have a crack at it and go, right, we're going to change this. But from our point of view, yes, I know what the changes. I think I know what the changes I need to say, but it needs to be in collaboration with the customers, so everybody understands why we're going to do something. If we're talking about second deliveries, just getting orders right. Listen, if we do something wrong, we're going to put it right.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. But so that's a second delivery. It's on me, our fault, our cost. But we do need to address this. All the businesses, anybody that does second deliveries needs to take a long, hard look at it and actually do something about it. Rather than bitching and moaning about it, it's really a case of shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I mean, it's not like you work in an area where there isn't a shop within 300 metres that probably has the exact product they want from you, maybe not in the same volume or the same price or the same format. No. But
they can get by with it.
They can get by with it. Yeah. And so it's really difficult because you don't want to sit there and say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. The customer is right to a certain extent. But if the customer doesn't know the knock-on effect of what the second delivery means, or the next day delivery means, or the packaging, or whatever it is, without the understanding and the knowledge of that, it's very difficult for them to make a decision advance to that. So taking the time, I mean, for us, it's a case of showing we're a very small company and we have a very small amount of customers compared to a larger company like ourselves. So our ability is saying, come and see some of the farms and let us show you how it works. And then this is how it works. When you place the order, there's me on the sofa at home or on the kitchen table at home, my laptop firing through all the numbers, and then it comes through, the vans are on there, and show them the process, and then the understanding is so much better. And gone are the days now of us messaging a chef saying, I'm really sorry, on tomorrow's order you're not going to have this. That doesn't happen anymore. It's completely understand, is there something similar I can put on the menu? Or something along those lines. And that, I don't want to be dealing with upset, unhappy customers. That's the worst part of any job.
Just out of interest, how would you, in a few short sentences, define a good customer? Because generally, people say to chefs, or what's a great supplier look like to you? But nobody actually says to the supplier, what does a great customer look like? So what does in a few words, what does a good customer look like to you?
Commercially and enjoyably, I suppose, as in like in how much I enjoy working with people, I would say personable. I love working with people I get on with, but you don't have to be the same person.
Correct. Yeah.
If I call them to do a sales call, I don't want to feel like I'm sat there taking up loads of their time and this is a pain in the arse or whatever else. Is just somebody who I get on with well, and we have sort of 4 or 5, maybe more than that actually, probably 10 of our customers, whether they be company owners or exec chefs or chefs or whatever, that we get on really well with. And that's enjoyable. Yeah, you can go for a lunch with them, and it works perfectly.
You can't like and love everybody you do business with. That though, everybody in life, you don't. Otherwise, you'd have millions of friends. It's just that's the way it is.
And I think for our nature of business, consistency is key. And you'll have the same. If you have a customer who buys relatively similar things every day and they buy a good volume of it, you can't go wrong.
That's it. And if they're nice people as well, that's the cherry on the cake.
Win.
Absolutely.
And also if they understand it when something's not there, and they understand that you're trying your hardest within your capability to fix that, again, fantastic. So I think that relationship of give and take.
Yes.
So when we say, for venison, for example, we call up and say, hi guys, this is what's happening. And most people say, hang on a second. No, that's not what we do. We buy it like this. We do it like this. And say, hear me out for a second. This is why we're doing it. This is how it works. This is where it's got to. And they say, that's a great idea. Okay, let's give it a go.
Absolutely. You need a bit of open mind in this to sort of embrace the idea. It's either going to work or it's not. The sin is never trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
Tom, you just mentioned venison there. That was something I wasn't aware of that you were involved in, so I thought you were fresh produce, fruit and veg, call it what you will. So can you expand on that a bit, please? I'm curious.
Of course, yeah. So our growers, our connection with growers, they are farmers on the land. You have deer. We have lots of deer in our area. There's been a kind of, because of the lack of, I think, demand and popularity in venison over the years, and this kind of stigmatism about it being a quite a posh thing and quite expensive, the numbers have rocketed, and fallow deer especially in our area. I mean, Natural England have done a drone survey around us, a thermal drone, and there's 27 per square kilometre. The sustainable number is around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So over...
Same problem in my neck of the woods where I live, funnily enough. On a smaller scale, but it's a problem.
Well, the whole country is the same, but the route to market that we spoke about earlier, this kind of supply chain, there isn't a good one. Well, not a good one there. I mean, game dealers do a fantastic job, and it works. But access and people to understand that it's not a high end thing. I mean, for example, we are doing venison diced and minced or whole carcass. And the diced and minced price is less than the beef price currently, and it's local wild Sussex fallow deer.
Yeah.
So people can cut it with burgers. They can put it in a bolognese. They can do that kind of thing, which means that they have stability. I mean, the beef price has gone up 25% in the last 7 months.
Yeah.
Whereas we're setting a price till March next year. It's a seasonal price. There's no fluctuation in our supply chain. So for us, we're looking to do between 1,000 and 2,000 deer this year, between October and March.
Really, that many?
And we've got a processing facility.
How long have you been doing the venison?
We put in the facility in January, and it's a seasonal product, so we don't start until September. But
this is brand new, and you only get to those sort of numbers in year one.
Yeah, so
That's
we do we did it on a smaller scale last year using a different facility, and we did I think 500 or 600. And that was whole carcass. And as part of that, we did it with a governing body. I probably can't say their name, but we did it with them, and we had chef training days. So we said, chefs, come down for the day. We'll show you how to butcher a deer in half an hour with a knife and a ball of string to get it menu ready. And something they're buying for 130 quid or 150 quid, they can put on a menu for 1,500 quid. So the numbers are huge for them, and it gets people in the kitchen, and it upskills staff, and so for us, from a sustainability point of view, the venison is an absolute win. It's they mow down woodland. They're damaging. I mean, a lot of the incentive and the people who are helping fund the facility that we've got are people who are trying to protect ancient woodland.
So, are we saying that deer are considered as a pest?
You've nailed a call I had last week. We are trying to get this sorted before that becomes the stigmatism.
It feels like it's where it's going, though. But and from a personal point of view, about 20 odd years ago, I started an arboretum, which is the definition of that, it's a collection of specimen trees. Midlife crisis, whatever you want. It'd been much cheaper to buy a Harley Davidson bike and wear an ill-fitting black T-shirt. But for whatever reason... Have
you not got that as well?
Yeah. Oh, God, no. And I decided to start this tree plantation, arboretum, call it what you will. And I was in there last week, and I was fuming. Because I know we've got deer in the area, but there was 3 particularly nice trees that they'd started getting stuck into. It's the first time it's ever happened. And we are going to have to keep an eye on this, because it's all right saying, well, aren't deer lovely, nice things, and everybody's got this idea of Bambi in the mind. But like you say, it's about destroying ancient woodland. In my selfish case, they're destroying specimen trees, and I'm playing the long game on this one. You know, this is for something I'm doing that's there for 200, 300, 400 years.
You're regenerating woodland.
Well, I'm starting it. There was nothing there. It was grassland, and away we went. So we need to address this. Interesting point you make there. Yeah.
So it's and the cost, the financial implication for the end consumer is more stability in a very volatile market, whilst having a lot of marketing around something being sustainable. So the wins are huge across the board. It's just a case of ensuring that the message is conveyed, and it isn't just seen as somebody going out and shooting something, and then rock up at the game dealer, hi mate, can you have this? And then it kind of gets lost in all of the ether of supply chain that's old school. So we've revised it, adapted it, added technology into it, and pre-forecasted it. So now we're public sector contracts, universities, big catering companies. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of kilos a week, whereas a previous market might have been a pub buying a couple of loins and a shoulder or whatever it was previously. So
I love this. This is my view on life. You're turning the problem into an opportunity.
That's exactly what it is.
So apart from venison, is there anything else that's not what I think you do?
Drinks, again, off the back of the farming sector, a lot of our apple growers have juicing apples, surplus apples.
Yes.
Same with our berry growers. And so, actually, to answer your question earlier, you said, do we actually grow anything? We're starting an elder plantation at the moment at the farm at home. That is elderflower or elderberries. Yeah. And that is kind of linked us in with this drinks business we've just started, which is, because elderflower is, you pick it out of a hedgerow. Yeah, no one really is doing it commercially. I didn't realise
anybody thought about cultivating it. Yeah.
So the drinks business is called Store Valley. We launched we soft launched 6 months ago. We launched properly 4 months ago. We sold 6,000 cans in the first week. And so hoping to kind of step that up and up and up and up, and we'll be doing over 2,500 litres a week hopefully. So of apple juice, and then additives, we have 5 flavours: apple and pear, which is locally grown as well, raspberry, which is Sussex grown as well, elderflower, then ginger.
Still doesn't make money good because they're local, but carry on.
So that's,
they are accessible. Yeah.
But that kind of, that stemmed from, it's my wife and I that are doing that, so it's not through Chef's Farm necessarily.
So you've got a young daughter and your pregnant wife. You're putting her to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
You've nailed it.
I know. I'm liking you even more.
But so that's something that we really hope to build, because it's proper. It's fresh juice, water, and that's it. So it is just 3 or 4 ingredients really. Yeah. And it's so simple, but yet it's so nice. So it's building that and having a good enough brand that people know about what it is and why it's good, but also making it attractive. So the branding aspect of it is very important. So it's an expensive label. It's a rough feel label. It's 0.05 of a pence more expensive, which is a big figure when you're talking about
when you
tiny margins. Yeah. So
I mean, I think what I'm reading between the lines here, I feel there's some samples coming my way.
I actually meant to bring some samples this morning, but I had a sleepless night with my daughter. So
right. So we've got venison. We've got the juice. Anything else you need to come out of the closet on?
God, I can't. No, just I think the fruit and veg is the core, and the farm produce, what we're growing and what we're doing well, and showcasing the amazing stuff that the growers around us are doing. Yeah. Is the core of Chef's Farms really, and saying these guys grow a phenomenal strawberry because this is how you buy it, this is your route to market. For us, it's showcasing that, and whether that be the fruit and veg, the venison, or the drinks, these are all products that we want our customers to try.
But it also feels like there could be something else at some point in the future, because it's clear that you're looking for the opportunities, you're looking for the angle to see where there's a gap. So if we talk together in 12 months' time, you could be telling me about something else you've added to your portfolio, perhaps.
Maybe an elderberry product. So I think there's some amazing health benefits around elderberries.
So it's a case of watch this space then.
Watch this space, yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Slightly different subject. Out of all the restaurants that you've eaten in thus far, which one, and it can be anywhere in the world, it could be an area of the world comes to that, which restaurant would you go back to and why?
So this is such a difficult question, because obviously it goes without saying that I would love to go for a pub lunch in my local pub, drinking the ale I love drinking, at a local pub that buys our produce, that has venison on the menu, which I love, with my wife and my daughter. Yeah. On a weekday when it's not very busy, so my daughter can run around causing havoc. Yeah. That is
obviously gets that from her father.
Yeah. That's the creme de la creme for me. Yeah. But
come on, nail your colours to the mark. Is it that one or is it something else?
But in terms of
Actually, fair. That's a great reason, though. I get that.
For me, that is. It's not doesn't answer your question perfectly because it was kind of anywhere else.
There is no right or wrong answer. It's okay. It's only your answer, and if it's the local pub, eating the product you want with the people that you want.
Yeah, and that's for me. It's feeling comfortable. A dining experience is lovely, but if I go into somewhere and you feel not welcome, out of place, like you're a hassle, these theories. Small things make a huge difference. In my local pub, we're used to it. You go in, you feel relaxed. It's an enjoyable experience. I love that relaxed feeling. You spend so much of your life.
Are we going to name check this local pub whilst we're at it?
The problem is the local pub is actually a circuit. No, there's 3 or 4 of them. No, we have.
Okay, fine. So you've got a drink problem as well.
we have, and my wife's actually pregnant, so I've got a taxi driver at the moment as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's a result.
No, we have some fantastic local pubs within about 3 or 4 miles of us. We're very lucky where we are, but one that we're repeat offenders of, which actually is. In the process of changing chefs, or has changed chefs recently, so it's all a bit changey. But the Black Horse in Amberley is a great pub that we go to a fair bit, okay. And they've got rooms to stay. It's quite a bougie kind of London weekend away kind of place,
yeah.
But still local enough that you can go in, have a really decent meal. There's good drinks, and you can have a few drinks, and your daughter can run around causing havoc, and the dog doesn't need to be on a lead and can run around.
Okay then, so indulge me here. For the purposes of this, let's assume that your wife and your daughter are otherwise engaged. Is there anybody is there one person, alive or dead, that you would want to go and have a meal with at your local?
Do you know Rory Sutherland?
No, I don't.
He is a behavioural scientist or behavioural psychologist. And he actually is a marketer. He works for a marketing company called Ogilvy, and he's fascinating. He understands why people do marketing ads and why people do certain things and why people act in certain ways. And I find that
I tell you what, it'd be a good challenge for him, but that's another one.
And a simple thing, for example, is he works with big food companies as well to kind of do things. Like a simple thing he talks about sometimes is when you go to a restaurant, you say, right, can I have the bill, please? Why do they come and put the bill down and walk off and then disappear for 5 minutes?
Actually, and then you're standing there with this sort of expectant look saying, will you just please bring the credit card machine so I can pay and go? I'm done. I want to go.
And his theories behind that, his examples and understanding of things like that are amazing. And he also understands kind of why tables would be positioned in a certain way, or why someone's done something like this or anything else, and small things he talks about is Coca-Cola as well. As a brand, we go into somewhere and ask for a Coke. It doesn't mean that we think, oh, that's weird. Like a wine. If you go into a restaurant and you say, oh, can I have a look at the wine menu? Say, oh, we don't actually have a wine menu, sir. You pass judgment immediately. If you go in somewhere and say, can I have a Coke? They say, yeah, sure. Sorry, we don't serve Coke. No. Then you pass judgment immediately. Yeah. So
they'll probably say they serve Pepsi Max. Is that okay?
Exactly.
Okay. Whatever.
But his understanding of all of those things, and also his kind of, he's very. I would find that fascinating. I would love to go and just pick his brain for hours and hours and hours. And I can imagine he probably eats and drinks a fair bit as well. So it'd be a lovely indulgent afternoon of just learning so much about why the consumer does certain things. I think would be my meal, and the restaurant would be probably the local pub.
That's it. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It's been, because we're talking about something, I guess, that's, so if you like, farming, horticulture, whatever you want to call it, is sort of in my background, and having a conversation about, I've loved it, absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you.
I suppose now we better go and have some lunch.
Oh, where are we going? Where are we going? Are you allowed to name?
I'm not allowed to name that. It'd be almost like me trying to sort of name your favourite child. I am not going down that route. No chance.
Well, thank you very much. And I have to say, I apologise. I feel like I've talked for the whole thing, but it's been fascinating for me.
Well, no, that's the whole. That was the whole purpose. If you sat there and didn't say anything, this would have been quite difficult.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. All the best.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Supplied. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and follow Supplied Podcast on Instagram, where we'd love to get your questions and suggestions for future guests. See you next time.